الشيطان الرجيم الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين أما بعد قال الله الحكيم في كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين. It is he who sent to the unlettered people an apostle from among themselves to recite to them his signs, to purify them, and to teach them the book and wisdom. And earlier they had indeed been in manifest error. Sadaqallahu al-Aliyyul Azim. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are here to discuss on the great occasion within the Islamic history. Today is the first day of the prophethood of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Congratulations on this great day, and we are being graced by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala today to be at the service of the honorable guest, the representative of Imam Khamenei, Muddadillahu al-Ali, and the head of the Islamic Center of England, Hujjatul Islam wal-Muslimin, Agha Seyed Hashem Moosavi. Welcome to this program, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Today we are at your service to get benefit of your knowledge, and today I offer the congratulations for the great ordainment day of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The first question which I want to ask from you is about the today's significance and the importance of today's day of Mabath, inshallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم مصطفى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد.
قال الله الحكيم في كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me once again to come here and to share the knowledge of Quran, the knowledge of Ahlebait to our dear brothers and sisters around the world. And second, I would like to congratulate to all of you, my dear brothers, sisters, viewers, scholars, great Allama, and of course to our beloved Imam Zaman alayhi salam, for this auspicious occasion, Mabath of the Prophet, the ordain of Prophet, and inshallah, Allah give us more tawfiq to benefit from this great chance which has been given to us. And regarding Mabath, as you mentioned, it's one of the great Eid for us.
Yes.
Just next to the Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Mabath, Jum'ah, and some other Eid. So Mabath is one of the great Eid. And of course, the night of Mabath itself, it's considered as a one night for the Ahya. So, which was last night. So it was very, good chance for those who celebrate this night and performed all the recommended acts, recommended dua, and recommended prayer, which has been narrated by the Ma'sumin alayhimus salam. Regarding Mabath, as everybody may know, it's the day that the Prophet of Islam has been chosen by Allah on the 27th of Rajab, 13 years before Hijrah, and the year of Fil, which is called Amul Fil, while the Prophet was on his 40th. Means he was 40. According to some narration, he was 43, but mostly they say he was 40 years old. So he was chosen as a prophet. Of course, all Muslims celebrate these days, but mostly the Shia community, they celebrate more for this because they believe 27 of Rajab is a specific day for the Mabath, but our Sunni brothers, there is no any specific day for them, I mean, as a Mabath, so according to some of the narrations, they believe that Ramadan is the month of, is the day of Mabath. Anyway, the whole Muslims, we can say, they celebrate these days and they try to perform all the recommended acts of worship, such as praying and dua and some certain a'mal, inshallah. Actually, in some narration, like the narration of Uyun al-Akhbar from Sheikh Saduq, it's been narrated that on Ramadan is even according to the Shia, some of the ulama, they believe that Mabath is on the Ramadan, but I mean, generally speaking, many of the ulama or mashhur of fuqaha, they believe it's on 27th of Rajab.
So this is the Eid day because of the declaration of the Holy Prophet as prophet, and he started receiving the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Of course, yes. Okay. The word of Mabath or Ba'sa, which is in English, they say ordain of the Prophet, and we use by now the word of Ba'sa, so it's everybody will know. It's before Islam. It refers to the prophecy of all of the prophets. Means when the prophet, any of the prophets were chosen as a prophet, it was used to, it was like a custom to use this word bi'sa. Okay. But after, when the Prophet of Islam has been chosen as like a prophet, this word specifically is going to be used for his bi'sa. So before that, there was no such a word. I can tell you this ayah. You can find Surah Nahl 36. وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنْ يَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. The word of بَعَثْنَا comes from, وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا. The use, we sent a messenger to every nation. We send a messenger to every nation saying worship Allah and avoid that. So وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ. So every nation has their own prophet. Okay, so the usage of this word was for everybody. But after the prophet, the last one prophet was chosen, the term has been applied only to the him,
prophet of Islam.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Can you just elaborate on the things happened today as 27th of Rajab? What happened today? Why we are celebrating, as you already mentioned, that this is the first day of his prophecy and the first day of receiving the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So can you just explain more the whole story of today's event, please? All
of us, we know that before the beginning of his prophecy, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to spend many days on the year in his solitude while thinking. Okay, while thinking and thinking about God and meditating. He used to go to the Hira cave, and he used to stay there for quite a long time.
And pray and do
pray
worship
and
of Allah.
thinking about the creator, thinking about the creator. And for this, as it's mentioned in the narration, so Hazrat Khadija was the only one, and Imam Ali alayhi salam was a little young boy. They used to bring food for him because sometimes, like many day and nights, he used to be there. So he used to pray there. He used to think about the universe, think about the
You mean
creatures.
he used to isolate himself from
Isolate-
the nation and sitting alone
Yeah.
to do worship of Allah?
Yes,
subhanahu wa ta'ala?
yeah. In one of these days, while he was in the Hira cave, he was thinking about the creatures. I was thinking about many things, and he was praying. He saw a great angels of the Prophet, angels of the God, Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam. So Jibreel came to him and asked him to read. And the Prophet said, "Oh, I can't read." Because he was not schooled, and so he did not go to the school, and he was unlettered. Actually, it's called Nabiyyun Ummi, means unlettered. So he said, "I can't read it." And then angel said, "No, you can." So I said, "What should I read?" Then the angel said, "Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq." Read in the name of your Lord who creates. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من خلق. He created man from a cloth. اقرأ وربك الأكرم. Read, and your Lord is most honorable. الذي علم بالقلم. Who taught to write with the pen. علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. And he taught to the man what he did not know. So this was the first, ayah, the first verses which was revealed to him. And then he was shocked, and he was really, he felt cold that he wrapped himself with the clothes. And then he came home, and he asked Khadija, Hazrat Khadija, because Khadija was the first person was informed about this story. And of course, Imam Ali alayhi salam was the second one that was informed about this story. So he informed her about the situation, and Khadija asked him, I agree with you, 100% I believe you, and I want you to teach me how to be like a Muslim, as a believer.
To be a believer.
Yeah,
Yes.
believer. Then Prophet, he was not in a good mood, because according to what it's been narrated, he wrapped himself with a mantle, a garment. Okay, and then this ayah was revealed. The first ayah of Surah Muddassir was revealed. Qum ya ayyuhal muddassir, though wrapped up in the mantle. Qum fa'anzir, arise and warn. This is not the right time to sit. Okay, so you have to arise and warn people. وَرَبِّكَ فَكَبِّرْ, proclaim the greatness of your Lord. وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِّرْ, and purify your clothing. وَالرُّجْزَ فَاهْجُرْ, stay away from sin. So this was the story that Prophet informed the family, but we have to know that this was for quite 3 years. For 3 years, nobody knows about this story. And
So
after the 3 years, I
the
tell you,
prophethood has been started, but quietly, without informing to the general people. Thank you so
not
much.
to the public.
I would like to just elaborate only 2-3 important key points in order to sum up the Hajj Agha's beautiful words. And in order to get rid of the confusion, sometimes people they are confused with the title of Ummi. They think that Ummi means illiterate person who does not know how to read and write. This is not the case. Ummi means he did not go to the school. He did not get any knowledge from the ordinary people. He got the divine knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he was not in need of going to the teachers to get the knowledge out of them. So this is the meaning of Ummi. Ummi means he was unlettered, he did not go to the school, did not go to any teacher to get knowledge. He whatever received knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. So his knowledge is considered as divine knowledge. The second important point is that there is some difference between the Shia narratives and the Sunni narratives about the revolution, the first revolution of Quranic verses. The verses which Agha has recited is from the Surah Al-Alaq, the 5 verses of that surah, and these verses been revealed to the Holy Prophet, and Holy Prophet was not scared of it, as Sunni narrative says that he was so scared and he came and he didn't know what happened to him, and he came to Khadija and complained about the fearness, about the scariness, and she has given the news, good news to the Holy Prophet that, oh Prophet, do not be afraid of, you became a prophet like Musa used to become prophet, or Jesus used to become prophet. This was not right according to the Shia school of thought. The Holy Prophet was well aware of it, and he came to inform to the Khadija. And then, as the Agha told, that Khadija was the first person who came to recognize Holy Prophet's wordings, and she was the first believer. Of course, Imam Ali was always with the Holy Prophet himself. Thank you so much. The other question which I wanted to mention is about the situation before the revolution, before the prophethood of the Holy Prophet. Before 27th of Rajab, the people of Mecca, what was the situation of them?
Yeah. Before I go to this section, I just want to add some information regarding the story of the Ba'sa to complete this part. You know, when the Prophet informed Khadija about the situation, and Khadija, as you mentioned, immediately, because she believes in Prophet, she believed in Prophet, and she immediately accepted this religion, and she said, I want to be the first believer with you. So this story continued for 3 years.
Right. Okay.
So 3 years, only a few people, there is no any special figure for this number, for these people, but very few people.
But that mission was the secret.
Yeah, where was the secret? Until this ayah was revealed after 3 years. وَأَنذِرْ أَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ in Surah Shu'ara, verse 214. This ayah was revealed, warn your close relatives. وَأَنذِرْ أَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ. When this ayah was revealed, so the Prophet invited his relatives, as people they might know. Yeah, they invited 40 people around here, among the relatives, like uncles, cousins, different people around him, and informed him about the story, informed him about the situation, his prophethood. And of course, still again, this story, the prophethood was not was not announced to the public until this ayah was revealed. In Surah Hajj 94, فاصدع بما تؤمر وأعرض عن المشركين. This ayah was like a general announcement or public announcement for everybody.
If I just what I understood, if I recall for you, if I am not right, you just correct me, that there according to your words, there are 3 steps of prophethood of the Holy Prophet. The first step was just receiving the declaration from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the revolution started. It has been begun, and it was
Only Khadija and
the second step is to keep this within the close fellows for 3 years. And the second stage is to go to the relatives, and the third stage is to go to the general people.
After he was asked to inform the close relatives, okay, the same year, the last session, the same year, this ayah was revealed. فَاسْتَعْ بِمَا تُؤْمَرْ وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. Proclaim then what you are commanded and turn away from the unbelievers. Then the Prophet openly announced, and everybody knows about the situation. And then one by one, people came to know about Islam, and they accepted Islam as a religion.
Okay, that's great. So viewers, you alhamdulillah got some knowledge out of the great day of Mabath, and so far we have learned that the Ba'atha had 3 steps. The first step is just receiving the revelation, 5 verses of Surah Al-Alaq, and then Holy Prophet has informed to the close families like Janab Khadija salamullah alayha and Mawla Ali, and then inshallah after 3 years quietly doing some homework about the prophethood of the Holy Prophet, he was ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to call to the relatives, very close family members, and he has done this. And the third step is to open this invitation towards all people living in Mecca.
Yeah.
Agha, just can you explain about the situation of the people living in Mecca before Bi'tha?
Yeah, as you know, that time is called...
By the way, you can have your tea.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
As you know, these times, or this period is called Dora Jahiliyyah, or the ignorance period. Okay? Because really the situation was so bad and terrible. Instead of saying from our own word, I prefer to use the word of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam in Nahj al-Balagha, because he is the only, I think I can say, he is the only person who is the right person to say about this situation, because he knows, he knew about the before Islam and after Islam, and he was with the Prophet always.
Okay.
And that is why sometimes a prophet used to be called Abu Ali.
So the most reliable source,
the reliable source is Imam Ali, and you can find this in Nahj al-Balagha, Sermon 89. You can find this story in Nahj al-Balagha, Sermon 89. ومن خطبة له عليه السلام في الرسول الأعظم صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وبلاغ الإمام عنه. He says, Imam says, أرسله على حين فترة من الرسل. Allah sent the Prophet after the mission of other prophet had stopped, means for quite a long time there was no any prophet. We know that, between the Prophet Isa and the time of the Prophet Isa and Prophet Muhammad was quite a long time.
More than 500.
More than 500. So there was no any prophet. أرسله على حين فترة من الرسل. Fatra means the time which there is no any prophet. Okay? وَطُولِ هَجْعَةٍ مِنَ الْأُمَامِ. And people were in slumber for a long time. وَإِعْتِزَامٍ مِنَ الْفِتَنِ وانتشار من الأمور وتلذ من الهروب. Evils, according to what Imam Ali says, evils were raising head. Okay, all matters were under disruptions and in flames of wars. Means everywhere there was war. As you know, the story between two tribes, Aus and Khazraj. So 100 years there was a war between these two, and this 4 months, which is called as a month of Haram, that's because of give them a chance to stop the war, prepare themselves for another war, because this was supposed to be continued war. Okay, so Imam says
it means the people of Mecca and Medina, they used to just fight each other all the time.
That is why Imam says all matters were under disruption and in flames of war. What dunya? Look at today's word. وَالدُّنْيَا كَاصِفَةُ النُّورِ ظَاهِرَةُ الْغُرُورِ. While the world has devoid of brightness, and full of open deceitfulness. We can see right now the same situation we are experiencing right now. Okay? Many things.
Yes.
So it means, in other words, we just came back to the period of ignorance. We need another Ba'sa, which inshallah is going to be the last Imam, inshallah. And then, وَالدُّنْيَا كَاصِفَةُ النُّورِ ظَاهِرَةُ الْغُرُورِ عَلَى هِينِ اسْفِرَارٍ مِنْ وَرَقِهَا. While the world was devoid of brightness and full of open deceitfulness, its leaves had turned yellow. Look at to this word, how Imam used the word very nice and in a perfect place. He says, عَلَى هِينِ إِسْفِرَارٍ مِنْ وَرَقَهَا. Its leaves had turned yellow and there was absence of hope about its fruits, and its water had gone underground. Okay? وَإِيَاوْسٍ مِّن ثَمَرِهَا وَإِقْبَرَارٍ مِّن مَائِهَا قَدْ دَرَسَتْ مَنَارُ الْهُدَى. Okay? The minarets of guidance had disappeared. It means if somebody wants to be guided, there is no any source, there is no any minaret is an example. Okay?
Yes.
منار الهدى وظهرت أعلام الردى. And the minarets of guidance had disappeared and signs of destruction had appeared. Okay? فهي متجهمة لأهلها عابسة في وجه طالبها. It was strange to its people and frowned in the face of its seeker. ثمرها الفتنة وطعامها الجيفة وشعارها الخوف ودثارها السيف. Its fruit was wise and its food was carcass, jifa, this is a meter, okay? Its food was carcass. Its inner dress was fear and its outer cover was sword. So very good design, very good explanation. This was the situation of the Prophet Mecca at that time. So Allah is going to send somebody to change these people to a normal people. So that's what we can say. The Prophet said, "Ma udhiya nabiyyun qadra ma udhit." He said, all of the Prophet was suffered with lots of problems, but nobody was like me. I suffered more than many other, all of the Prophets, because the situation was like that.
Subhanallah.
So this is the situation of that time. So I think nobody can say better than Imam Ali alayhi salam about this situation.
Yes, very great, very great sermon from Imam Ali alayhi salam. In other sermon, Imam has addressing to the people of Arab, saying that you were before Holy Prophet's prophethood, how you used to live Imam has described very beautifully, as you have mentioned in another sermon. I'm going to just quote a few sentences out of that sermon, but I would like you to have your tea, and I'm going to share this beautiful sermon of our Imam about addressing to the people of Mecca and Medina. He says, verily Allah has sent Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as a warner against vice for all the worlds and a trustee of his revelation. While you people of Arabia were following the worst religion, and you resided amongst rough stones and venomous serpents, you drank dirty water and ate filthy food, you shed blood of each other and cared not for relationship. Idols were fixed among you and sins were clinging to you. I mean, you had only two business. The first one is to just worship idols. The second thing is to just commit sins and sins and sins. So this was the situation as Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam has described very beautifully. The next question, if you are ready, is about the aims and objectives of the Mabath. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent the Holy Prophet at the final stage in order to guide the people. So what was the main objective?
Yeah. Again, this is one of the good questions that we can answer, but I think nobody can answer better than Quran itself. Now, Quran itself is going to tell what is the aims and objective of the prophets and aims of the Bi'sa. According to what we can say through the Quran, the Prophet, the first thing which we can say regarding the aims of the or purpose of the prophethood is inviting people to monotheism and bringing humanity to this eternal bliss. Bliss means to their own sa'ada, to their own good end. Means Allah wants all of the human being go to the Tawheed, okay, to worship one God. As you know, the Prophet always used to use this slogan, this shu'ar. He said, قُولُوا لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ تُفْلِحُوا. So this became just like the shu'ar of the Prophet, the slogan of the Prophet.
Let's say, La ilaha, there is no God but Allah, tuflihu.
Tuflihu. قُولُوا لَا إِلَهَ.
Victorious.
You will be victorious and you will reach to your good end. Okay? This is like the thing which Prophet always used to tell to the people wherever he goes. Okay? But we have to put in our mind that we have to know that the creation of Allah has created people on the nature of Tawheed. Okay? As it's mentioned in the Surah Rum, verse 30. فَأَقِمْ وَجْهَكَ لِلدِّينِ حَنِيفًا فِطْرَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي فَتَرَ النَّاسَ عَلَيْهَا. So according to this ayah, says, then set your face upright for religion in the right state, the nature made by Allah in which He has made men. Okay? According to this ayah, all of the human beings, okay, they are created on the nature, on the fitrah of Tawheed. Okay?
Right, okay.
But what happened to the people? Why still people, after like quite a long time or after a short time, they go to different sides. They turn right or turn left and they worship idols, they worship sun, they worship cow, they worship different things. Okay? What's happened? Allama, they give a very good example for this. Just like the case of newborn baby. You know, newborn baby, already he knows, although he doesn't know anything, but a little things he knows that he needs to feed himself. He needs to go to find something to eat. Okay?
Okay.
If he or she was guided to the right place, she will go for breastfeeding. Okay? Or he will go to the breastfeeding through the mother. But if not, whatever she or he finds something, she will put in his mouth. Okay? Because this is the nature of the human being.
All right.
Wants to eat something. Okay? But if is guided to the right way, to the right place, she or he will get the right thing to eat.
Okay.
Our case regarding the worship is like this. We are created that naturally we are going to worship somebody. Okay? So the worshiping it's it's put in our nature. Okay?
It is inbuilt in our nature.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Inbuilt. So we have already. Okay. If we are guided to the right place, then we will worship God. Otherwise, we will worship either sun or idols or moon or stars or whatever. Okay? That is why you can't see any prophet that say, "Oh, people worship God." Nobody says worship, because already people are worshiping. The only thing they say, worship one God. Okay? So this is the main aims of the prophet. Worshipping a one God is the most important aim for the
If I say in short that the worshipping itself is inbuilt of the nature of the human being.
Yes.
So the nature of human being requires to worship, whether the right one or the wrong one.
Yes.
The guidance should come from outside to the human being in order to take the human being towards the right place in order to worship him like creator. So the second important thing which you have mentioned is that the prophets, they did not call people for worship.
Yes.
They did
already worshipping.
Yes, because they used to worship, and worshipping is inbuilt. But they used to call to worship one God.
Yeah.
Because of that, they ask people to deny all kind of gods except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And that is the meaning of La ilaha illallah.
Allah subhanallah. And from that, they can reach to the salvation.
Yes.
Great. Is there any other objective for the...
of course, yes. There are many objectives. It's mentioned in the Quran that although we have no enough time to discuss about all, but some of these objections we can discuss, like the uprising for justice. This is one of the main important goals of the prophets. In these things, I just want to quote to the word of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei for the speech of today. He mentioned this word, so I just want to benefit from his word as well. You know, nowadays many scholars, especially for this Western scholar, when they talk about social justice or economic justice or freedom, okay, they are very proud to discuss about these sort of things. And unfortunately, our youth, our brothers, our sisters from our Muslim countries, they think, what are the learned people are the Western countries? They are talking about very good things like social justice, economic justice, freedom, but we are way behind. I can tell. And actually, I'm quoting to the word of Supreme Leader that they are familiar with this concept only for recent centuries.
Right.
Like 500 years before. But we have the same story 14th century before. In the Quran, we have some certain words clearly discuss about the social justice, economic justice, about freedom, okay?
Right.
And one of the main one of the main goal of the Prophet, according to what it's mentioned in the in Surah Shura, verse 15, is this ayah: وَأُمِرْتُ لِأَعْدِلَ بَيْنَكُمْ. وَأُمِرْتُ. In this ayah, the Prophet says, I was commanded to bring adl, justice among you.
Subhanallah.
Look at this word, 14th century before. Now, these people, they're talking about the justice, and of course, only they talk. You can't see the justice among the society, among the community. We are not going to discuss about this, but in Islam, we had this one. 1,400 years ago, the Prophet was mentioned, he mentioned this one. Not only in this, in Surah Hadid again, in verse 25, we have this ayah, لَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا. This is the exact word of the Prophet. لَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلَنَا بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ. We send our messenger with clear evidence. To support what? To support their truthfulness. بالبينات وأنزلنا معهم الكتاب والميزان, and sent with them the book and the balance, or the scales, mizan, scales. Okay, we send them for what? So that ليقوم الناس بالقسط, so that people would maintain justice. Look at this word, 14th century before. Okay, one of the main goal of the Prophet was that, to maintain justice.
Subhanallah.
Okay? And this not only as a theoretical things, it practically has happened. I can tell you the story of Imam Ali alayhi salam while he was a Khalifa.
Yes.
And probably our viewer, they knew about the story. One day there was a complaint from a non-Muslim person against Imam Ali alayhi salam. So both they went to the judge, and judge invite both to sit in front and to judge against one of these two. And end of the story, Imam was upset of the judge and the judge said, did I do anything wrong? Imam said, yes. You called me with my respected name, and you called him with ordinary name, with a simple name. So this is not fair.
Even in calling the names,
Even in calling
the judge.
Yeah, you have. So Imam said, if you call me, you have to call both of us in one level, not you call me in a respectful manner. So this is one of the things which I just want to share with you, that not only this, even regarding the freedom, okay? Regarding the freedom, nowadays, the Western community, they say, we brought this concept and we discuss about the freedom, so the Western country, they have more freedom, the other country, they don't. Well, I want our youth, our Muslim youth, just go back to our own sources and to be proud of your source. You can see in your source, and Imam Ali alayhi salam, in his word, he mentioned, لا تكن عبد غيرك وقد جعلك الله حرا.
Subhanallah.
لا تكن عبد غيرك. You should not be the servant of somebody else while Allah created you free. Okay? This is the command of Imam Ali alayhi salam, or the advice of Imam Ali alayhi salam to the other. But he blamed his authorities, his agents. Imam blamed his agent. He said, استعبدتم الناس وقد خلقهم الله أحرار. He said, why? You put the people of your community, you made them just like your servants, while Allah created them free. Means even Imam is not happy with his agent, his people, his authority. He said, you have no right to bring them, to make them servant of yourself. They are free. So this is what we have. Okay, so these are the goal of the Bi'sa, which unfortunately, because we are so far from the teaching of Islam, and we're facing with this problem. And I can tell that in the letter of the Ayatollah Khamenei to the youth of the Western country, Imam Khamenei, he said, I advise the youth, go to this original source. If you go to the original source of Islam, they will find lots of things which they did not know about this before.
Subhanallah. Very beautiful said, and viewers can now call if you have any questions, inshallah, to get the benefit of his presence here in this program. So far we have learned many things, especially the last part of his beautiful words, that the objectives of the prophethood of our prophets, number one, to call people towards one Creator, one Lord. And that was the slogan in the streets of Mecca, قُولُوا لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ تُفْلِحُوا. O people, tell there is no God but Allah. Tuflihu means you will get the salvation. I attend the call and then see what he is going to say. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Walaikum salam warahmatullah. MashaAllah. Mubarak both of you and all of us who are listening this program, and thank you very much for the program. We are getting a benefit from it.
MashaAllah.
And my question, there are two questions.
Yes.
One is that what was the age of Imam Ali alayhi salam or Ali alayhi salam at that time? The first question. The second question, what was the main contribution to his Basath, to Prophet Basath? I mean, the Imam Ali's role, what was his role with him and how old was he?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your great questions. Inshallah, we'll get answers from Hajj Agha. But I'm just telling to you, I was explaining about the objectives. As Hajj Agha explained, that the first important objective and the goal of the Holy Prophet was to call the people towards oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to worship only one God. Tuflihu means come to salvation. If you want to reach to the salvation, you need to worship only one God. La ilaha illallah. The second important objective of the Holy Prophet is to bring the justice and introduce the justice towards the human beings, and it was done fairly in practical means of it in 1400 years ago, while the Western societies were completely in the darkness. And now they are taking the flow of justice, asking people to do justice, while Islam has already described in its best meaning of justice, even not in the words, but in the practical life of the Holy Prophet himself. And after that, Imam Ali's government was full of justice, and there are many examples. One of the examples, he has mentioned that even he was not happy by calling the names differently. While they are in the court, they should be called equally. So that was one of the examples of the justice. The question our sister has asked, that what was the age of Imam Ali while the Holy Prophet received the first revelation?
Yes, as I mentioned again, in my talk, Imam was so young at that time. According to some narration, was like 10 years old, and according to some other, like 13. So between 10 to 13 years old. But
if you just count the date of birth of the Holy Prophet, first Amul Fil, and Imam Ali's date of birth is 30th of Amul Fil, and the Bi'tha has been declared on the 40th of the Amul Fil. It means that Imam Ali was just 10 years old.
That is why I said, because according to some narration, the Ba'sa was on, while the Prophet was 43.
All right.
So, but in difference. Between 10 to 13.
Okay. The second question was that what was the contribution of Imam Ali in the Ba'tha, and what was the role of Imam Ali alayhi in this great mission of God?
Yeah, of course, Imam Ali alayhi salam, as he mentioned in his khutbah, in different khutbah or Nahj al-Balagha, he raised in the house of the Prophet, and he was with the Prophet as he himself says. He said, even the Prophet used to feed me while I was a little child. So you know the story.
Yes.
There was some problem in the Mecca at that time. So Abu Talib was not able to feed all the children, either because of this or this is the wish of Allah. We don't know why. Imam Ali alayhi salam was chosen to be with the Prophet, to raise or to stay, to live with the Prophet, to learn many things from the Prophet. So he was with the Prophet, and after the Prophet declared that I is a Prophet, he was the first man. He accepted Islam, and then always used to practice this Islam. And in khutbah, in Nahj al-Balagha, it's many times he mentioned that we were, he says, me and Hazrat Khadija and the Prophet were the only people who used to pray for quite a long time, as I mentioned. Yes. It can be least, maybe 3 years.
According to some narrations,
yeah.
At least 7 years they were just reading Salat, doing Salat together without having other peoples coming to do the same.
But at least we can say 3 years was confirmed, but more or less. And then, when the day of وَأَنذَرْ أَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ, when this ayah was revealed and the Prophet invited all of his relatives, and after gave them the food and everything, the Prophet declared that I am the Prophet, I was chosen as a Prophet. Whoever is going to follow me, is going to accept this prophecy, this nubuwwah, he is going to be my wazir, my wasi, my wakil and imam after me. And nobody was ready to help him except Imam Ali alayhi salam. So Imam 3 times he stood and he declared that I am going to support you. And the people around him, some of them, they said, the cousin or some uncle said to Abu Talib, oh Abu Talib, next time you are going to follow your little child. Okay? Yeah. So this was the story. So Imam
used to mock Abu Talib.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much. The role of Imam Ali, everyone knows that, as Agha mentioned, that Imam Ali was from the day one with Holy Prophet, and he was brought up by the Holy Prophet himself, and he used to be all the time with the Holy Prophet, not only by word, he used to be the supporter of the Holy Prophet all the time, and he was the best helper in his whole life. You cannot see a single day where Holy Prophet is there and Imam Ali was not assisting him. That was the great role of Imam Ali. Not only Imam Ali, Abu Talib also was the great supporter of the Holy Prophet. While the Holy Prophet has declared as Prophet, people used to mock him, people used to come and harm him, but Abu Talib was supporting the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the successorship of the Imam Ali alayhi wasallam was declared as Holy Prophet's prophethood was declared in the invitation of Dhul Ashira. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, we got some more minutes to be with you, and if you want to get benefits of the presence of this great alim, you can ring and ask your questions. Before we attend any other call, can I ask you about the continuation of the Ba'tha? Because we need to know that after 13 years of his life in Mecca and then 10 years of his life in Medina, in total 23 years of his age spending for the prophethood of the Holy Prophet, and he has conveyed very clearly the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala towards the nations. But what is the good method of continuation of this great mission of God?
Yeah. I actually wanted to talk more about the goals of the prophethood and Nubuwwah, but I'll just go back to your question, and if we have time, I will add more things to objective for the goals of the Nubuwwah. Regarding the continuation of the Ba'sa, again, we have to go back to the word of the Prophet himself to see, I mean, is there any plan from himself?
Okay.
Because he is the one, he brought this like a message, and he established this system, and the system is going to run for quite a long time. According to what we know, it was like 23 years. Okay, so 13 years in Mecca and 10 years in Medina. And of course, Prophet did not come only for 23 years. Allah sent Prophet to teach people or to guide people forever, not for this only 23 years and then leave people alone and say, okay, you go and you find your own solution. This cannot be. Okay? So this is why we believe that the Prophet was he informed people about the future. And he did not say anything from his own behalf, according to what we believe, that Quran says, مَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْحَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. So whatever he says, it's not from his own behalf. He says from the wahy. So he informed about the future. Okay, and we know the stories. Many things happened, and now the whole Islamic world is divided in two parts because of this sort of thing. I'm not going to open all this discussion today. Just mention one hadith from the Prophet, which this hadith you can find in Sunan Abi Dawood. Okay, volume 4, page 107. And again in Kanzul Ummal. So these two books is from our Sunni brothers. Kanzul Ummal, volume 14, page 264.
And the writer was the Mullat Muttaqi.
Yes. So in these two books you can find this hadith. The Prophet said, if there is only one day is left in world, from the umr of this world, the life of this world is only one day is left, Allah will make it so long, okay? Allah make it so long until a man from Ahlebait, okay, whose name is the same as my name and whose kunya is, what do you call it? Kunya is just like my kunya, okay? Title, yes, is Malik, until this man comes and he raise يَمْلَأُ اللَّهُ بِهِ الْأَرْضِ قِسْطًا وَعَدْلًا بَعْدَمَا مُلِئَتْ ظُلْمًا وَجَوْرًا. And then he will fill the whole world, he will make it full of qist and adl and justice, after it became full of injustice and zulm. So according to this hadith, so this would be like the continuation of the prophets. Means there's supposed to be one line, okay, one line, and this line, although it's going to be like a little bit late, maybe some people they say, probably this hadith it's not correct because it's quite a long time nobody came. But still we have to be wait. According to the hadith of the Prophet, say even if one day is left, he will come. So this tells us that you should not lose. You should not lose your hope. And this day will come, and somebody from my family, from Ahlul Bayt, will come, will continue this message.
Subhanallah. Thank you so much. The time is running very fast. to be finished. I'm going to summarize today's discussion. Dear viewers, please listen to me carefully right now. I'm going to summarize the whole discussion, today's discussion. We have, alhamdulillah, got benefits of his presence, and he has disclosed about the significance of today's event. Today's event is the Mabath of the Holy Prophet, the ordainment of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was chosen by God as the final prophet, and he has declared on this in such a day, which was 27th of Rajab, and he received the first revelation of the Holy Quran, the Quranic verse, 5 verses from the chapter 96, and then there were 3 stages, 3 steps of the prophethood. The first step is to receive the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he informed only few people, very close people like Khadija salamullah alayha and Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. In the second stage, he was commanded by God to inform and invite the relatives. The 40 relatives of the Holy Prophet were invited by the Holy Prophet, and in that invitation, the Holy Prophet has declared himself as the Prophet, and he has preached the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, conveyed the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to them, and at the same time he has announced the successorship of the Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, with the condition that whosoever helps me, assists me in this great mission, he will be my wasi, my successor, and my khalifa after me. And nobody was there to promise Holy Prophet except Imam Ali when he was just 10 years old. And then the Holy Prophet has done his job in the best manners, and the objectives of the Ba'atha as so far declared, there were 2 important objectives. There are many, but today we could not discuss the rest of the objectives of the prophethood. Number 1, to call people towards one God and ask people to worship only one God. And the second one was to establish just justice and maintain the justice. 1400 years ago, the Holy Prophet, not only by words, by his action, the justice was established and maintained by him. And the continuation of this great job was through the divine leadership after the prophethood of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We got 12 divine imams, starting from Imam Ali, the first one, and the last one, Imam Mahdi alayhi salatu wasalam. As Agha mentioned the beautiful narration from the Ahl Sunnah books, that Imam Mahdi will inshallah arrive to this world in order to establish again the justice and finish the oppression and dhulm from this earth of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm going to ask only the beautiful message from Agha as the best completion of this discussion. Any good message for our viewers?
As you explained very nice and very complete, I just want to add that the message of the Prophet, it's forever. So if people of the time of the Prophet, some of them, they were successful to got whole message and put in practice, and they enjoyed, and then end of the story, they got the result. So this story will continue to all of us, generation by generation. Now is our turn to receive this message. We got this message, and the message everywhere. And even our situation now is much, much better, because we can get all of the messages. But only to know about the message is not enough. Knowing about the message and putting in practice is both. يؤمنون and then عملوا الصالحات.
Subhanallah.
In the Surah Al-Asr we have
Yes.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات. So we have to believe and we have to put in action, practice. So this message is alive. We have to take this message and put in practice, and inshallah, end of the story, we will go to our own good end and good place, inshallah.
Thank you so much. Because there is no time left, I'm going to talk. Although we have announced about the corona situation in this country and across the globe, unfortunately, we have no time to discuss on that issue, but I'm going to share with you a very important message. We all living in UK and the Europe itself, we have some responsibilities regarding the people, those who are dying because of this virus in this country or in any place of Europe. Everyone has responsibility. That is wajib al-kifai. Kifai means if someone has done this, then the rest of people are okay to get rid of it. But if nobody is doing this, then everyone is responsible and accountable in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have to take this very seriously. The first important responsibility is to contact to your local authorities, especially your local MPs, regarding the burial of our mu'mineen, our Muslim fellows, those who die because of this virus. The government plan is to burn the bodies. They are trying to cremate the bodies of those who have died or going to die by the virus. So we have to ask, demand and request our MPs to not to go towards cremation. They should come to realize that the Muslims got very obligatory rules about their dead bodies. So we need to at least get rid of this very bad situation and try to fulfill our responsibility. The second important thing is to prevent ourselves, our society, from this very harmful virus. We should not be careless in that situation. Everyone to take very extra care about the hygiene and the instructions coming out of the expertise, out of the health authorities. We have to oblige and we have to obey all these instructions for our own sake. Finally, I'm going to say the last sentence as the completion of our discussion, that do not lose your hope. Do not be panic. Try to be strong enough and defeat the virus by having great faith on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will be the all power and Allah is going to help us, not only this world, even if we are not having support from anyone, Allah will inshallah support us to be at least good in our life after death, inshallah. Musta'an. Take care of yourself. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.